Hello and welcome to another episode of the Gritty Hour, the last Gritty Hour of season 1 for the year. How you doing, Shawnee boy? We made it to the end of the season.
Yes, we did, T-Man. I'm doing good. I just wanted to say happy birthday to you, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Wishing you a great day and many more, sir. It's a good way to end our first season with your birthday, and we got a big time guest showing up today. So and on top of that, we made it. We made it through a season of whatever the hell we just did. I'm not
Yes,
sure.
season 2 is going to be very exciting, and that'll be January the 8th, and it's going to be live on Facebook and YouTube. You can look up our channels on both. But yes, as you alluded to, Mr. Boy, we have a very special guest here today. The biggest celebrity in the world. We have Santa Claus. How you doing, Santa?
Oh. Merry Christmas 18 days early. Shawnee, Thomas, how delightful to be with you on this brand new medium. At least it's new to me.
We know you're extremely busy this time of year.
Having to answer all those letters. Not that I mind. Shoot.
Well, we know you're extremely busy this time of year, so we appreciate you taking the time out to join us. I know you still.
About being Santa Claus is that everybody thinks I'm busy right now, but I'm no more busy than I usually am, and I always have time for you, especially on your birthday. It's all right that I let that cat out of the bag, isn't it?
Yes, thank you, Santa. I appreciate that.
Santa knows all. Happy birthday.
Before we get into the nitty gritty, I just have to ask you, and you don't have to tell us publicly, Santa, which list is Shawnee Boy on?
Woo! Yeah.
You're on the good list of the bad.
Since you asked, the list is fluid. As of now, Shawnee Boy is on the very, very good list.
That's what I like to hear.
But you might want to keep that in mind.
There's still time
for
left.
The duration of this Inquisition. A little list levity. Levity. Anyway, Shawnee, I hear you enjoy a little coal.
I do. It's I don't mind a little coal, but obviously I don't want that to be the only thing.
I don't want to be a pain, but I haven't gotten your letter yet.
It's in the mail.
Don't worry, Santa knows all. Santa just doesn't want to see the post office collapse.
Well, Santa, I know you.
Gentlemen, you'll have to excuse me. I'm completely jazzed being on the Gritty Hour with you wonderful boys who are both, all kidding aside, on the very, very, very good list.
Thank you,
Life
Santa.
Changes on a dime, boys. You know what I
mean? Well, Santa, I know you're still in the North Pole now, and we appreciate NORAD letting you come in over the World Wide Web.
I know where my bread is buttered, Thomas. Those boys get especially good gifts every year.
Very good. So Santa,
do you know how NORAD began? I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you know why NORAD began tracking me?
No.
Because many years ago, and this is a true story, a company published one of their phone numbers by mistake, and they began fielding questions from boys and girls across America about where Santa was and what he was doing. And the soldiers on duty decided to play along. And ever since then, I've had a wonderful relationship with NORAD.
Very good.
That's the truth.
I'm glad to hear it. You want to keep NORAD on your side at all times.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yes.
And you like to be standing slightly behind them as well.
Yeah, Santa. So how you been getting around the last couple of years? The population is growing. It's got to be even more busy than ever for you.
Thomas, when we start talking about how I manage, we're talking about Christmas. I don't want to say magic because it's very, very real. We're talking about the ongoing Christmas miracle, which, needless to say, does not start with Santa Claus. One of the great benefits of being Santa Claus is the gift of ubiquity. I believe that you traffic in antiquity.
I do.
Well, I traffic in ubiquity. I am everywhere at once. And it is only this time of the year that everybody is, as you might say, attuned to me, that I appear more often. But I'm always there. I see you when you're sleeping. I know when you're awake. And you, Thomas, you wake up, you go back to sleep. You wake up, you go back to sleep. Don't think I don't know it. Ho, 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 ho. And Shawnee,
Ah,
since you sleep facing towards the wall, I'm not quite sure when exactly you wake up, but I see you too.
All right, it's good to know.
In all
Good to know.
seriousness, boys, it's very kind of you to be concerned about me, because it might seem that this is my busiest time of the year, but Santa Claus is a 24/7, 365 day a year job. So every day is equally busy and every day is equally joyful.
I
Does
should
that
have
make sense?
I should have said at the outset of this podcast, do you prefer to be called Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas?
I have become accustomed to Santa Claus.
Mhm.
As far as being called Saint Nicholas is concerned, you'll have to remember that I was never called Saint Nicholas during my earthly lifetime. I was Nicholas, Bishop of Myra. How I came to be Bishop of Myra is a whole other story. But, well, Thomas, as usual, you asked Santa for the time and he built you a watch. Ho, 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 ho. Santa Claus is fine.
Well,
Santa Claus is fine.
You were
Do you think
born
I
in
might be lugging it up to the camera a little bit, Thomas?
what is now Turkey, correct?
I was born in what is now Turkey. At the time, it was known as Asia Minor.
Oh,
My
wow.
parents were Greek aristocrats, and unfortunately, they went to heaven when I was a little boy.
Hmm.
They left me alone, but they left me very wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I heeded the words of the Sermon on the Mount. I heeded the words of the gospel to sell everything you have and give your money to the poor. And at the risk of sounding like I am bragging or boasting, this is the beginning of what most people would refer to as the legend of Santa Claus. It's not a legend at all. It's a simple matter of being inspired and having the power and the ability to go with the inspiration. Does that make sense?
Does that make sense, Shawnee boy?
Yeah, I'm just listening. Yes, it makes total sense.
Shawnee
So
So
boy
with
is
the
gonna.
wealth that my parents gave me, I began doing what I needed to do in order to store up treasure in heaven, giving to those around me who were less fortunate than myself. And as we say in the North Pole, it snowballed.
So Santa, were you canonized the saint? You're the patron saint of
I was
children?
absolutely canonized a saint.
I'm just
Within
checking your
several
cred.
years within several years
Street
of my
cred. What's your
departure
street
from
cred?
my first mortal coil.
Uh-huh.
And
So
my feast day is, wait
December
for it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean, when I wait for it, I was trying to build up the drama.
December 6th.
My feast day in Christian tradition is December 6th.
Uh-huh.
And before, as a matter of fact, it was yesterday. Nobody wished me a happy feast day. Shawnee, I guess you're not really interested in being on the good list.
No,
I'm
I was,
kidding, Shawnee. I'm kidding. I'm
listen,
kidding.
listen, happy feast day. I was gonna say it, but I didn't know if should I say Saint Nicholas? Should I say Saint Nick? I was a little confused.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's very kind of you to even remember that yesterday was my feast day, although I said it 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. How was the feast?
My feast day was quiet. I like to pace myself. I am, after all, several thousand years old.
Well, I was
That's
going
not
to ask
exactly
you.
right. Math was never my strong point.
I was going to ask you, Santa. Are you the patron saint of children or the patron saint of sailors?
I have been associated with both, and more on the level as far as children are concerned, more on the level of caring for children who cannot care for themselves.
Mm-hmm. So
But
how did you
please.
get into the tradition of giving out gifts to all the kids in the world every Christmas time?
Well, now, here's what happened. My story spread throughout Europe in many different manifestations. In the Netherlands, I became Santa Claus. And then, when the Dutch came to what is now New York, the legend of Santa Claus began to develop into what you two young men grew up with, the legend of Santa Claus. It starts in New York with Washington Irving. It starts with the history of the Knickerbockers. Washington Irving began to popularize throughout America the very Dutch / New York tradition of Santa Claus who comes to bring children toys. And frankly, not to bring toys to children who aren't good. From Washington Irving, we go, of course, to Clement Seymour, who publishes in 1823 A Visit from St. Nicholas. And it is Clement Seymour who connects in the popular imagination the Dutch tradition of Santa Claus to the Christian tradition of St. Nicholas. Without trying to be amusing, gentlemen, it's very true. New York, New York, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And it was in New York where Santa Claus took off.
How long does it take you to get, how long does it take you to get through just the New York area on Christmas Eve?
Well, now, that's kind of a complicated question. I'm going to explain it as best as I can. Santa Claus starts at the international date line and moves west.
Wait, say that again.
And that's the trick. What's that? What's that, Johnny?
Could you repeat that?
Yes. Santa Claus starts his journey on Christmas Eve at the international date line and moves west.
So you start in Europe?
Now, the wonderful, I beg your pardon?
You start over there in Europe?
It's around where you might say where Russia is.
Okay.
I am moving west, which gives me the benefit of having 32 hours and not 24 hours
Wow.
to complete my circumnavigation, because I benefit from the different time zones.
See, Shawnee boy, Santa
And
found a
remember,
loophole.
I'm sorry?
Santa found a loophole,
What's that
Shawnee
again?
boy.
He said you found a loophole.
Yes. And remember that the planet Earth is mostly water, and Santa Claus doesn't have to stop at the water. So it's rather simpler to make my journey than most people realize. However, if I do say so myself, it's still impressive. And I will share this with you boys because it's been so long since anybody asked me. I travel at 138,000 miles an hour.
Wow.
Wow. Question for you: How do you make the gift drop at that speed?
I'm going to use the most accessible image that I could use, Shawnee, especially since you asked such a direct question. Somebody
sorry.
might even say abrupt. No, it's all right.
It's
I'm
my
just
fault.
joshing with you. You're on the good list, kid. Don't worry. Now,
For now.
visualize the antler of a reindeer.
I'm with you.
And visualize how the antler of a reindeer extends outwardly always.
Mhm.
If you can visualize that, number one, you'll understand why Santa uses reindeer and not aardvarks or salamanders. Another little more Yuletide humor. It is no accident that the reindeer is my mode of transportation, because the reindeer's antlers are the very image of how I make my drops, which is ever extending. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
It does. So he can
In
do
addition
multiple
to that,
households
let us
at
go
once.
back. I'm sorry, Thomas.
I was telling Shawnee boy that you can do multiple households at once.
That is the benefit of ubiquity.
Yes.
Antiquity, ubiquity. I am not just capable of bilocation, I'm capable of ubiquity. I'm capable of being in many different places at once. Now, we're getting dangerously close to the point where I have to tamper back a little bit on my storytelling, because I just wanted to give you an inkling of
Gotcha.
what the miracle of Christmas is all about.
Mhm.
It's still not a particularly easy job, but it is the most wonderful job a man can have. And I should know, because I'm the only man who's ever had it. Ho, 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 ho.
So 1,700 years, give or take, you've been doing this, and what got you interested in it in the first place? Giving out gifts to kids everywhere.
Thomas, the short answer to your question is that kindness is contagious. The short answer to your question is that kindness is the heart and soul of everything that is Santa Claus and everything that is Christmas. And when you let, and you know this already, a little bit of kindness into your life, you want that kindness to increase and increase and increase. And I hope that that is a touch towards what it really means to be me, to have the privilege of being able, let alone being willing, to participate in the wonderful season of Christmas the way that I do. Because if you don't mind my saying, Santa has never forgotten who the star of Christmas is. 138,000 miles an hour. That's considerably faster than the speed of sound, but it's not nearly as fast as the speed of light. And
Very good,
Christmas is all about the light.
Hmm.
Christmas is all about the light of the world. Now Santa's getting a little misty.
Well, Shawnee boy,
Yes,
have you ever
sir.
been disappointed in a gift that Santa has ever given you in your past? Now's the
Well,
time to
that's
take him to task on it. See.
put me on the spot. Well, there was this one time, this one year. I don't think so, to be honest with you. I think honestly, I've always pretty much gotten anything I've asked for that I can at least remember. Santa Claus, listen, he comes through in the clutch. He always steps up for the kids who are on the good list.
You're very kind to say so, Shawnee. And
Yes.
I have to point out, Thomas, that Shawnee has never not gotten anything he asked for out loud. There were a few things he asked for in his heart that I thought it was wise not to give him.
Yeah,
And
there
I
you
bet
go.
now he thinks I was right about that.
Yeah, smart. That's probably smart. That's for me.
All right, Shawnee, you just made the good list forever.
I,
Well done.
I got piles of those
All right,
things.
Turles.
Yeah.
Let's turn that question on you. When have I disappointed you?
You've never disappointed me, Santa. I remember
Not
all,
even a little.
all my Christmases past. You've always stepped up to the plate for me, and I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, for a while, it was very easy, Thomas. All you wanted was
I'm sorry, Santa. I
Elton
think
John
NORAD
and Bruce
is.
Springsteen albums.
I think NORAD is getting a
More
little
sophisticated.
choppy over there in the North Pole.
Yeah.
But
What did you miss?
everything that you intended to give me but never delivered, I think you would say it.
Well, I was talking
The
about
whole
how
thing.
incredibly easy it was when you were a teenager to give you gifts because all you wanted was Elton John and Bruce Springsteen albums.
Oh, yes. Well, there's no accounting for taste, Santa. I'm
And
sorry.
for some reason, Blackberry Brandy.
Santa, you know me well. I
That's
guess
between
it's
you
all
and me.
true. So, like I said before, the population of the world is ever increasing, and I'm sure your job gets ever more difficult. What do you do when you get back to the North Pole after Christmas and kick back? Or do you kick back? Or do you get right on it for next year?
Since you asked, I'll tell you. Before I kick back, before I relax, before I get ready for the next year, I watched the original 39 episodes of The Honeymooners in chronological order.
Well, I'm
You
glad
heard
you
it
could,
here first, folks.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. There was one Christmas episode on those honeymooners, as I recall.
There absolutely was, and it was a
Yes.
takeoff on The Gift of the Magi, one of my most favorite Christmas stories.
Well, Santa, what's your favorite
Because
Christmas
Santa
movie?
is no slouch when it comes to gift giving. But in all seriousness, Tom, the greatest gift is the gift that you get from somebody you love who loves you. Somebody who looks into your heart and sees what you really desire.
Mhm.
How does that sound?
That sounds, you can go either way on that one.
You were fished in, boy. I'm just kidding with you.
Sounds good and creepy.
Yeah, creepy and good. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't think it sounded the least bit creepy.
Yes.
No, we're just joking. Santa, we're just joking around.
Okay.
So I'm glad
Santa
you
can
made it.
take a joke.
I'm glad you made it through your travels last Christmas, with the COVID and all. You managed to make the rounds. But you've had many plagues and wars and other things that you made it
I've
through.
seen it all.
You've seen it all.
I've
Yes.
seen it all.
This is this.
And I would remind all of the people who are listening,
All seven
That-
of them.
and I would remind all of the people of the world that to be sure, we've been through some difficult times. But when you look at the vision of history, as you've already suggested, Thomas, hard times in retrospect are always the times that we look back on as the particular blessing of being able to truly appreciate what we have. So I advise and counsel all good people to remember that in the hardest of times, the light always shines. And Santa Claus is all about the light.
Well, it's a great way to end this interview, and we certainly appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Saint Nick, Santa.
It was incredibly kind and gracious of you boys to invite me to appear.
Yes.
And I'm going to be especially good to you for that reason.
Well, I know I can't speak for Shawnee boy, but I'm gonna try my darndest to stay on that good list, Santa.
You only have 18 days left, Tom. You can
Yeah,
do
but then I
anything for 18 days.
gotta work on next year right from the get-go. See?
Yeah, you gotta build that. You gotta build the the equity, the good equity.
All right, now, boys, you don't have to flatter Santa Claus. Just keep it in the day, boys. Keep it in the next 18
well said.
days. And
Well said,
remember,
Santa
you're
Claus.
already doing wonderful things. You're
Well
already doing wonderful things, and I'm proud of you both.
Staying on that
Thank you,
good list
Santa
is a lot of pressure staying on that good list, but it pays off in the end every Christmas.
It pays off in the end, and it pays off throughout the year. And
Yes.
remember, Santa always lets you off the hook.
Well, we appreciate your time today. I know you're a very busy man, even though you say you're not as busy as people think, but you did spare a few moments for us, and we certainly appreciate it. It was a great way to end season 1 of the Gritty Hour, so we appreciate that, Santa Claus.
I love the gritty hour. Ho, 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 ho! And I'm looking forward to seeing the both of you, although you better be asleep when I get there.
You got
Merry
Sean?
Christmas in advance.
Merry,
Thank you, Santa.
And all of your loyal listeners.
yeah, Merry Christmas to you, Santa Claus.
And
Johnny, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Thomas, what can I say?
I'd like to thank
Thank you so
also,
much for the opportunity.
I'd like to thank also everyone who's tuned in for season 1 and walked us through with our teething pains, but we should be ready to rock for season 2, which starts on the 8th of January. That episode, if you can't make it live, will be 7 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Santa. And the episode itself will be available as usual on that Monday around 3 o'clock, if you can't make it live. But we'd certainly like to have everybody join us live, including you, Santa. You should be in your downtime. You a couple weeks
I
off.
should be well rested by the 8th of January.
Yes.
I look forward to it.
Yes, because you got baby Christmas on the, what is that, January 6th?
On the Feast of the Epiphany, I like to eat light.
Well, isn't it still called baby Christmas?
It's called Little Christmas. It's called Baby Christmas. It's called the Feast of the Epiphany. It's called the Feast of Three Kings. It's called many things, but it's just one more day to share the joy.
Yes,
One more day to be with the people you love.
Gotcha.
And maybe every day could be Little Christmas.
yes. Well, that's a great sentiment. And thank you, Shawnee boy, for being my co-host in season 1.
Same to you, T. It's been I still can't believe we've been doing this since May, man. Unbelievable.
Yes, well, we've got a full year ahead of us of a lot of interesting guests, and we're gonna have a lot of fun in season 2. So,
Yes.
Santa, you take care of yourself. Shawnee boy, you take care of yourself. And Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas!
And a Happy New Year.
Thank
Yeah,
you
Happy New
so
Year.
much, boys.
All right.
Thank you so much. God bless you both. Merry Christmas.
Bye. Bye, Santa. Bye, Shawnee.